Hey y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel. Happy Ash Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, February the 22nd, 2024. 2023. Sorry. Anyway, I hope you all had a good Ash Wednesday, and I also hope you had a very wonderful Shrove Tuesday yesterday. Forgot to do my Shrove Tuesday greeting yesterday's video, but anyway. I had a good Ash Wednesday today. I had a very long one. I was supposed to work today, but got canceled because of the weather. Then I forgot to pre-record this. Then a power outage happened when I came back home. So I had no light, no power, or no nothing. So yeah, currently it's between 11:15 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. So yeah, but I'm grateful that the power is back on. So today I shall be reading to y'all the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 1 through 46. I shall do this now, just in case the power goes back off. And which also means I had no internet at all. And I had no water because everything is connected to electricity, and I live in an apartment building, and yeah, so on and so forth. Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22. The parable of the wedding feast. Jesus again, in reply, spoke to them in parables, saying, "The kingdom of heaven may be likened to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son. He dispatched his servants to summon the invited guests to the feast, but they refused to come. A second time he sent out other servants, saying, 'Tell those invited, behold, I have prepared my banquet, my calves and my fattened cattle are killed, and everything is ready. Come to the feast.' Some ignored the invitation and went away, one to his farm, another to his business. The rest laid hold of the servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged and sent his troops, destroyed those murderers, and burned their city. Then he said to his servants, 'The feast is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy to come. Go out, therefore, into your main roads and invite to the feast whomever you find.' The servants went out into the streets and gathered all they found, bad and good alike, and the hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to greet the guests, he saw a man there not dressed in a wedding garment. He said to him, 'My friend, how is it that you came in here without a wedding garment?' But he was reduced to silence. Then the king said to his attendants, 'Bind his hands and his feet, and cast him into the darkness outside, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. Many are invited, but few are chosen.'" When I first read that passage, I was thinking how cruel the king was, because he literally told his servants to invite everybody, both good and bad. And then this one person was not dressed for the feast. But then, many years later, I was at a Bible study or something, and I discovered through the Bible study that when the people were at the wedding feast, whether they were wearing appropriate clothes or not, they were given garments. They were given stuff to change into. And this particular person basically refused. And that's why he was never dressed in a wedding garment. So yeah, it's just a thing that I noticed. Then also many years ago I was at mass, and the priest during the homily this particular, I think, passage was a homily. It was the gospel, I mean. And the priest was saying how there are 3 times in the Gospel of Matthew where the king or the father or someone in authority says to the person, friend. And when he says friend, he does not actually mean friend. He basically means, I'm warning you, something bad will happen to you. This is one of the passages, and another passage is when Judas Iscariot comes to Jesus in the agony of the garden, kisses him, and that's the betrayal. And Jesus said to Judas, "Friend, come here, do as you were supposed to do." I can't remember. And again, it's a warning. Jesus was basically saying to Judas, something bad will happen to you, Judas. And I cannot remember the first or second time that Jesus uses the term friend in the Gospel of Matthew. But anyway, yeah, so there are 3 times in the Gospel of Matthew where Jesus or someone uses the term friend, and it basically is a warning to the person. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that with you. And also, I got my ashes tonight at Ash Wednesday Mass. But because it was raining and snowing out, my ashes kind of like fell off. Paying taxes to the emperor. Then the Pharisees went off and plotted how they might entrap him in speech. They sent their disciples to him with the Herodians, saying, "Teacher, we know that you are a truthful man, and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. And you are not concerned with anyone's opinion, for you do not regard a person's status. Tell us then, what is your opinion? Is it lawful to pay the census tax to the Caesar or not?" Knowing their malice, Jesus said, "Why are you testing me, you hypocrites? Show me the coin that pays the census tax." Then they handed him a Roman coin. He said to them, "Whose image is this and whose inscription?" They said, "Caesar's." At that he said to them, "Then repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and pay to God what belongs to God." When they heard this, they were amazed, and leaving him, they went away. The question about the resurrection. This whole scenario is absolutely ridiculous. I was again at another Bible study. And they're saying the Sadducees, about the woman who got married 7 times and she had 7 brothers and they all died. Yeah. Basically, the Sadducees were doing a ridiculous scenario to Jesus. The question about the resurrection. On that day, Sadducees approached him, saying that there is no resurrection. They put this question to him, saying, "Teacher, Moses said, if Moses dies without children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise up descendants for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers among us. The first married and died, and having no descendants, left his wife to his brother. The same happened with the second and the third, through all 7. Finally, the woman died. Now, at the resurrection of the 7, whose wife will she be? For they had all been married to her." Jesus said to them in reply, "You are misled because you do not know the scriptures or the power of God. At the resurrection, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are like the angels in heaven. And concerning the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what was said to you by God? I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." He is not the God of the dead, but of the living. When the crowds heard this, they were astonished at his teaching. The greatest commandment. When the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them, a scholar of the law, tested him by asking, "Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" He said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." The whole law and the prophets depend on these two commandments. Later on, just different. So the church issues out different degrees of dogmas and doctrines and disciplines and stuff. Not all doctrine or dogmas, I can't remember the word, are things that you must believe as a Catholic. They're basically optional. But anyway, one of those optional ones, I think it was Pope Francis. I think it was his God's mercy letter or something. I can't remember. Or maybe before that. But anyway, so they were talking. I think it was the year of mercy. I can't remember what year that was. But anyway, pretty sure it was the year of mercy, and they were talking about the greatest commandment. And I think it's also the golden rule. How like the top 10 belief systems and religions like have a golden rule. Christianity being one of the 10. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it was Pope Francis with the Year of Mercy. He was saying, the Pope was saying how the second commandment is like there is a misinterpretation here with communication. And people were understanding the Pope was saying how the second commandment is like equal to the first. That is not true. There's a huge miscommunication there. And basically and Jesus said the second is like it, which means it's not equal. It's like it. So yeah. I just want to share that with you all. Yeah. The question about David's son. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus questioned them, saying, "What is your opinion about the Messiah? Whose son is he?" They replied, "David's." He said to them, "How then does David, inspired by the Spirit, call him Lord, saying, 'The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I place your enemies under your feet'? If David calls him Lord, how can he be his son? No one was... I'm sorry for the hiccups. I had hiccups earlier today. No one was able to answer him a word. Nor from that day on did anyone dare to ask him any more questions. That was the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 1 through 46. I apologize for the hiccups. I had hiccups earlier today. I was reading, so on Wednesdays, currently, I work at a music store in a different city where I live. And I spend time with my mom, and I was reading Catholic Answers, so Catholic Answers has different topics. They have books, 20 questions and answers per book, and anyway, so I read those books during my time before I start work. But anyway, yeah, I was having hiccups earlier today, so yeah. I might be doing a bit of I've been thinking about this since last week, actually. But I might be thinking about doing a little mini series about the Catholic Answers books. It is so amazing. I was finishing up the book about abortion. Then I was reading the book about God. That's the topic, God. So yeah, this just my own 2 cents. Anyway, happy Ash Wednesday, happy Lent, first day of Lent. I pray that this Lent be fruitful for you. If you want to dive into more Lenten stuff, last year I did a Lenten series about the first Sunday of Lent, second Sunday of Lent, third Sunday of Lent, and so on. I also did the Stations of the Cross, part 1 and part 2, back in 2022. I also did, I think, the Sorrowful Mysteries of the Rosary as well. So, back in 2022 last year. So if you want to do more Lenten stuff, just check out my YouTube channel and go back a year. Yeah. Anyway, happy Lent, happy Ash Wednesday, happy WCW Hump Day Wednesday, midweek, etc. God love you. Looking forward to seeing you all in my tomorrow's video.